Alright, what's up guys, I'm KBHD here, and this is it. This is our first look, and actually, now, suddenly, I'm actually holding one. So the basic concept, in case you forgot, Galaxy Fold has one smaller outer screen and one large folding inner screen in a single device for $1,980. This is my very first impressions of the final phone that people paying this money will actually get. So right off the bat, this phone is chunky. So we kind of saw it coming with other folding phones like the Royole FlexPai and even the Huawei Mate X. But it kind of has basically the feel of two small Samsung phones put back to back next to each other with a hinge in between. And it doesn't go all the way completely flat against each other when it's closed like a sandwich. Instead, they create this little angle, like a small triangle. And then the phone's shape, like this folded up, is just really tall and narrow. So it's got this like candy bar sort of feel, and it's pretty heavy as well. Now the screen on the front, as you might remember, is a 4.6-inch cover display. Very tall. And then when you flip it open, you get a 7.3-inch OLED display that's nearly exactly 4x3, so pretty wide. Now I know a main question a lot of people will have about this is probably about the crease down in the middle where it folds. So to be perfectly clear, yes, you can see the crease, especially when you're just a little bit off axis or if you have a light wallpaper. And yes, you can even feel it when you run your finger over it. So it's not this perfectly, precisely flat, uninterrupted glass feel, but honestly it gets pretty close. When you're looking at it straight on, you can easily forget about it, and it's, again, much better than that Royole FlexPai I saw at CES, although I guess that wasn't a very high bar to clear. And also, I gotta say, the actual closing and unfolding movement of opening and closing it is extremely satisfying. I wish I brought my mic to this hands-on so you could actually hear the thunk sound that it makes when it closes, but there's some strong magnets in either half of the phone that open and close and connect it. It's so strong you could actually, pick up paper clips with the phone. But that opening and closing, that thunk it makes, I kind of love that. And the hinge, it just sort of snaps open to a full 180-degree flat position, and everywhere in between those two positions is pretty fluid to whatever angle you want, but it definitely feels like its springs are trying to pull itself closed. But yeah, opening and closing the phone is definitely a two-handed operation. I tried it with one hand, and of course I really didn't want to drop it, and I couldn't do it, so it's definitely going to be a two-handed process. I'm sure that's what we mostly expected. And actually that process can get kind of tricky sometimes with the interesting button layout. So there's a power button on the side of the phone where you'd probably expect it. There's also the volume rocker, and also a separate fingerprint reader for unlocking that doubles as a Bixby button. So it's actually incredibly easy to accidentally trigger Bixby, whether you're unlocking the phone or just trying to fold it or unfold it. I guess that's classic Samsung. Okay, a few other things I did notice. One, Samsung did technically just make a phone with a notch and no headphone jack. Kind of sad, I guess, but it actually does come with their new Galaxy Buds, their wireless headphones, so that's cool. And the notch on the inside screen, which holds two cameras and a bunch of other sensors, actually has this lip to it that's sort of raised up from the rest of the screen. But the notification pull down actually doesn't work from that side when you're unfolded anyway, so I guess it's not a big deal that the lip is there, but you definitely still get it cutting into things like videos and games or really anything that's full screen. And then speaking of cameras, this phone actually has 6 total camera sensors. So there's the 10 megapixel selfie camera on the front when it's closed. Then you open it up and you get that notch which has an identical 10 megapixel selfie camera with an additional depth sensor like the Galaxy S10 Plus. And then on the back, yes, in a camera bump on this already pretty thick phone, you have the standard, the ultra-wide, and the telephoto cameras just like the Galaxy S10 had. So you'll never be at a shortage of cameras and lenses here. And you can see, just looking at the phone, Samsung had to do a lot of creative things just to get the fold to work like a normal phone. There's some special adhesive in the display, and of course the folding plastic that actually folds on the front. They also split the battery into 2 parts, one in each half of the phone, and it's all connected through this very special hinge design. But they still did manage to get high-end specs in there. You got your Snapdragon 855, 12 gigs of RAM, your 512 gigs of storage, not expandable, and then you have your stereo speakers, you still have reverse wireless charging, and the combined battery is huge. It's 4,380 milliamp hours. So it's really equipped to actually work and get work done. Now there are 2 main features to take advantage of the fact that it folds: continuity and multi-window. So the continuity is interesting, but it does make sense. So you do have totally separate wallpaper and home screen layouts on both the front and the back screens. They're independent of each other, but with supported apps, which are mostly Samsung and Google apps right now, you can open them on the small screen, then unfold the phone, and they will continue where you left off on the big screen. And it actually works pretty quickly and surprisingly well, much faster than that one time on stage that we first saw the demo. So I opened the Play Store, scrolled down a little bit,